Hi there everyone, welcome to my channel Sewing an Imperfect Life. My name's Rebecca. I am talking to you from my little cottage in the Blue Mountains, Australia on a very overcast and cold winter's day. Today I have a compilation of some other sewing YouTube vloggers that you might be interested in. There's a whole variety from really good community makers to some historians to some people with some really out there creative flair that might stretch your idea of fashion a little bit. So if you're on board for that and you like hearing about sewing, fabric and creativity, then stay tuned. Some of these YouTube vloggers are quite well known and you might have come across them before, or some of them might be totally outside the little YouTube sphere that you've been functioning in. So I hope you find someone new that is a little bit inspiring or makes you think a little bit broader in what you've been looking at with your creativity. So the first person I've got to share with you today, I think is quite well known among UK YouTube vloggers, and that is Elma from Almita Made. I really like Elma. I think she's a fairly new YouTuber in the last year, but I really like her because she has terrific energy, very positive. As I've said, she's based in the UK. She does a lot of, I guess, what people call endorphin sewing and knitting, in that she creates and wears things that feel good for her and that just have such joy because they're such bright colors. I love that. She also offers some really practical hints about tweaking patterns, or about if you were going to follow this pattern, what were the tricky bits, and little hints to how to get through those steps. And she's also very succinct in the way that she speaks. Really helpful reviews about patterns as well. So Elma from Almita Made. My second sewing vlogger, I'm sure you've come across, and I've just finished doing a collaboration on the flaneur trousers with her, and that is Karen Marie from Made by Karen Marie. Karen Marie sews a real variety of garments and uses a good variety of fabrics. And she will reflect on how she's found those things, include how she's found it easy or tricky to sew with particular fabrics. She attempts to create garments of all levels of difficulty. So sometimes she'll report back on some really simple makes, but sometimes she also has a go at some things that I would find quite tricky, and give some feedback on that. And she seems to have really great skills and puts things together with ease. So if you're a more advanced sewer, you will also find some great things to follow along with Karen Marie. I really like the way that she shares about her life in the north. I've certainly never lived anywhere where there's snow, so it's really nice. Sometimes she'll take you on a bit of a walk through a park or through her backyard, down the road, sometimes in springtime, but sometimes in with snow in winter on either side of the track that she's following. And that is just a delight to see something different and to share in life, a little bit of life in another part of the world. So Karen Marie is very positive, very thoughtful about what she puts together and how she reports back on her makes. And she's also great at sourcing fabric from a variety of places and countries, and will share with you where she finds her fabric. So that is Karen Marie from Made by Karen Marie. My next sewing vlogger is Katrina from Sew Something Pretty. She is super duper sweet and easy to watch. She's an Australian vlogger. She really takes time with her sews. She sews a variety of garments, She's really honest about the challenges she has in her sewing room and also celebrates her successes. So that's Katrina from Sew Something Pretty. My next person is very well known for a pair of trousers. So the Lane Pants from Sydney Graham is very well known and very well loved at the moment. But Sydney Graham's vlog or YouTube channel has lots of different things. She's actually a really creative person. She's also a mum and an entrepreneur. So her channel is really interesting to watch because she talks about a variety of things, like how to fit her work in with children's school schedules. Also, she does some really interesting and creative things with her own patterns, like not just the Lane Pants. Great inspo on how to make the most of a pattern with multiple makes. She'll tweak and use different fabrics or make some slight adjustments so one pattern can look really different. Lots of little tips and tricks. I've really enjoyed some of the things she's done with patchwork, and then she uses her patchwork to create a garment, and I just love that look. It looks really great. Okay, speaking of pattern creators, the next sewing vlogger is also a pattern creator, and she is the creator of Madswick patterns from Madswick Studio. So she's a pattern designer, again, really inspiring use of fabric and special features. She does really great hacks on her own patterns and will put that in her on her website, and sometimes we'll do a tutorial on that, but is quite happy to share in detail how she hacks her own patterns and gets totally different looks from it, a different garment. She's really honest about her wins and losses. Sometimes she'll show garments and they're things that she's going to give away because they're not quite right for her. And she is great at experimenting with garments, and also really good at talking through something that she's made that she doesn't currently like, but she'll do a redo, she'll tweak it and work on it until she finds something that brings her joy and is also really practical and she can wear a lot. Okay, my next person is someone really different. It's Victoria from Victoria Gin. Her background is in art history, and she's actually an art director and a self-taught sewist. So her YouTube clips are documentary type videos of the anatomy of a particular garment. Really interesting. So for example, the anatomy of the trousers or the shirt, or she's got one on the tweed jacket. So she really focuses on the culture of a garment, the construction, the different styles, and also the stories and history behind that garment or how it's developed over time. So she really likes narrative and craftsmanship in classic garments. So that's Victoria from Victoria Gin. My next person also has many followers. She's a younger sewist and is extremely creative. Her name is Carly B. I also really like her because she's quite frugal with her makes. She's great at using secondhand fabrics and can create a beautiful garment from scraps. I find her makes really inspiring because she does something with a pattern that I had never thought of. And she introduces me to new ideas. Some of them I think, yep, I'll take that idea and do something else with it, and some I just appreciate her craftsmanship and her creativity with what she does and what she creates. She makes a real variety of garments, from rock climbing trousers to a patchwork picnic rug to a fairy wedding dress. So that's a huge variety of things. And I would recommend following her if you really like your concept of wardrobe fashion to be pushed. And she's another Australian. The next sewing vlogger I have to introduce you to is Lisa from Threads in Cahoots. Lisa is based in America, and I really like her vlogs because she's delightfully disorganized. I think she puts on camera what we're all really like when we're sewing. She has a really vintage slash ranch style slash prairie style, which is a bit different. You don't see a lot of sewing creators putting those sort of patterns into their everyday life. Some 70s thrown in as well. So she really promotes lesser known pattern makers, and she'll remake a pattern a few times in different fabrics, and she does really excellent reviews on what she likes, what she didn't like, how she had to adjust it for her body shape but also her lifestyle. And she will quite often search for patterns so she can reproduce dupes of expensive garments that she has seen and liked online. So that is Lisa from Threads in Cahoots. The next sewing vlogger is from Ontario, Canada, and that is Candace. And Candace is another sewing pattern creator, and her YouTube channel as well as her pattern company is called Sew, Bake, Make. So Candace is really great at matching fabric to patterns, and she does lots of shout outs to her fabric sources. So if you like something, you can see if they've still got that in stock. She follows current fashion trends and makes a bit of every sort of a garment. Okay, so that's Candace from Sew, Bake, Make. Very easy to watch, very friendly, and up-to-date sort of fashion trends. The last recommendation I have for you today is a male. It's a young male called Kristoff, and he's still feeling his way with his makes and with his YouTube channel. So there's a bit of variety in there with how he presents. He focuses on upcycling and making bags to sell online. And his upcycling projects, he just uses amazing techniques and goes super duper slowly. The craftsmanship in these is just beautiful. There's lots of handcrafting. He's really artistic and takes great pride in his makes. He'll often stop and have a real long philosophical chat. I love that. Gives me a smile. I really like that in a young person. It's very creative. His sashiko techniques especially are very beautiful. So again, someone a little bit different. If you're looking to get some different inspiration outside of the normal kind of sewing community and expand what you know about some sewing techniques and the sort of people who sew as well. So that is Kristoff, and I think that was his YouTube channel as well, Kristoff. So they are 10 terrific content creators in the sewing world at the moment that I think offer a little bit of diversity, and you might find some inspiration from them. I really hope you enjoyed that little trek through YouTube. And if you have someone else to recommend that I've missed, please do put it in the comments so we can all check out some new sewing vloggers. I hope you are well. I hope you are enjoying whatever you're creating and enjoying wearing your garments. Take care, and I'll see you next time.